Hey everybody, it's Sunday, March 16th, 2014. Hope you're having a great day. And the inspiration for this episode came from one I recently did on tropicalmba.com over at episode 231, where we had a roundtable about kind of the narrative fallacy. So I basically took that idea and I'm going to apply this here to talk about e-commerce conversions. And so I have two former guests, Johnny FD and Will Evans, and also a new one, Anton, Kraly, who I met here in Vietnam just a few months ago. So hope you guys enjoy, and let me know in the comments if you've got any questions or feedback about this format. And one more thing, I'll be going to Singapore on April 4th to April 9th. So if there's any listeners there, make sure to shoot me an email, terry@buildmyonlinestore.com, or just go to the Facebook page. I'll probably create something there, maybe easier for us to coordinate. So hope to see you guys there. And hope you guys enjoy this episode. Don't deliver a product, deliver an experience. You're listening to the Build My Online Store podcast, and I'm your host, Terry Lin. We're here to talk about running an online store and building a strong e-commerce brand to take your online store to the next level. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com. Let's get on with the show. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. You got Terry Lin here, and I got three friends with me. Two of them have been on the podcast, so I'll just go around the table. Let's start with you first, man.
All right, Anton, Kraly. Been in e-commerce for about 8 years now. Live in Saigon, met Terry out here, and decided to do a podcast on Convergence.
Awesome.
What's up, guys? This is Johnny, JohnnyFD.com. Met Terry out in Chiang Mai a few months ago, and he's the one that inspired me to have my own podcast, so I'm glad to be here.
What's up? My name is Will from Chiefs. Episode 78. I remember because I looked it up before I came here. But chiefsformen.com.
What was my episode?
God, I can look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed it.
I think it was 72.
Is that
72?
Yeah.
72? I like it. Yeah. I was disappointed I didn't make the top 5 most listened to.
We'll give it like a couple years, like 2 more years. We'll see how it happens.
Everybody click that and refresh it.
Yeah, and all right, so everyone, today we're here to talk about e-commerce conversions. So a lot of these guys, big successful e-commerce guys, so we're talking about, how do they optimize revenues for their stores? What are they doing that's working maybe for the past year, and what's working for 2014? So let's just start off real quick then. So how long have each of you guys been in e-commerce so far?
So Anton's been in it for by far the longest. You've been in it for, 8 years now?
Yeah, almost 8 years. I started in 2006, right after I graduated from college, and been doing it ever since.
And were you doing dropshipping the whole time? Or?
No. I actually didn't even know what dropshipping was when I first started. And I'm one of the guys that read the 4-Hour Work Week, got inspired to start an e-commerce business. And I found the website Alibaba.com and basically started doing my market research, seeing what sold well on eBay at the time, tracking completed listings. Then I sourced suppliers in China, and I went straight for importing. I eventually transitioned to dropshipping a few years later, but in the beginning, it was all importing.
Yeah, so it's interesting because a lot of people start from drop shipping, but they go backwards in the source. So why did you take this route?
Well, I was in business for a while, so my site started to rank for different niche keywords, and then companies actually started to find me that were looking up, their products for what they sold, seeing what sites sell them, and these companies that were doing the research were the dropship suppliers. They were brands and manufacturers that were looking for companies to sell their products. So these companies actually found me, and they said, we offer similar products. Here's your wholesale price list. If you sell them, we have them in stock, wherever it is in the United States, and we'll ship to your customers. So the margins obviously weren't as high as the products I was importing, but I also didn't have to do any work besides, formatting the products, getting them on my site, and then sending my existing traffic to them. So I tested it out, and everything went well. And basically within a couple of years, I completely stopped importing, totally transitioned to dropshipping, and kept going from there and expanding more and more niches. The reason that, even though the margins are smaller, but I prefer it now is because instead of, having 100 SKUs, now I have over 30,000 on different stores. So if I imported all that, I'd be putting up, I don't know how many tens of millions a year. And instead I'm putting up products on my websites, getting traffic and making a smaller percentage. But the ability to scale it is just, it's much greater.
All right, very cool. So let's go back to the beginning then. So one of the things I get a lot from my audience is that when they're trying to build a store, like the first ramp up takes forever. So how long did it take you guys each to get your first sale? Let's start with Will first.
First sale, I think we were pre-selling before I even had product in inventory.
Okay. And how long ago was that? Like, how long did you pre-sell before you actually got the product then?
Probably about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. But it took me about probably, let's say, because we kind of do the reverse of drop shipping. We make our own products, put them in warehouses, stuff like that. And, it probably took me like 6 months to start working on the product. And then about 5 months in, we started pre-selling.
Okay, very cool. And Johnny?
So I'm kind of the opposite of Anton, where I started with drop shipping, and then now I'm actually looking into importing and manufacturing my own products. But I actually learned from Anton. If you listen to my episode, which was, I don't know, I guess 72, I think it was back in May last year, I learned how to drop ship from Anton's method, and I started the store. It took me exactly 2 months to make my first sale, and basically from that point on, it's been consistent. But it took me 2 months to set it up, to add all the products, to rewrite the descriptions, get the advertising going, and that's it.
All right, so we got 5 months for Will, about 2 months for Anton. 2 months for Johnny, and how about you?
I was like the same as Will as far as research goes. I spent months and months and months just researching everything because I was planning on importing, putting up a lot of money, and I actually also started pre-selling. So when I put up my website, I actually did get a sale the first night, but in no way was it like an overnight thing. It was after months of market research, getting all my traffic ready, and then when I launched, I got a sale the first day. But it wasn't just throw it up and make money. It was do the research, and then the sales came after.
Yeah. So for everyone listening out there, don't expect to. It's not a quick process. So,
I would say for e-commerce, But what I've noticed, and I don't know if this is true for you guys, but once you start getting those sales, it just ramps up. And I've heard this from a lot of people where you might not get a sale at all for months while you're setting it up. But the day you get your first sale, usually you get 2 sales. And then from that point on, it's consistent. And that was my
Yeah, well, usually
my
something
situation.
changes. Like with you added the phone number to your site. Someone called and placed an order. Then the next day, someone called and placed an order. So that was what changed kind of your conversions right there. You weren't doing that well. Added the phone number, and then things changed. So
yeah, that was one of those little things where I know in your course you mentioned you have to have a phone number and to kind of build trust so people know they can call them if they need to. But because I was based in Chiang Mai and the time zone difference was so different from the US, I just didn't want to pick up the phone. So I had a phone number in the contact us page, but it wasn't, I was kind of trying to hide it almost, where I didn't really want people to call. And when you looked at my site and you're like, dude, you just put it everywhere, and just have people call. And I said, okay, let me just do what he says. He knows what he's talking about. And that, I think it was that same day or the very next day, I got 2 sales.
Yeah. So when you're starting out, maybe for Will and Johnny, how did you approach the Convergence side? Because when you get your first sale and you're like 6 months later, how do you scale that up? Like, what was your journey?
I wasn't even thinking about Convergence when I first started. I was thinking about God knows what. I don't even want to remember. Probably formatting the site or something like that, or playing around with the header.
Yeah.
But now as I've grown, Convergence is definitely something that is way more on the priority list.
When would you say you start looking into it? Like 6 months later, a year later? Or?
Probably into a year, about the time I started moving full time into running the business, and quit my job and realized, all right, we're gonna have to get serious about not only conversions but a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of about the time I really started paying attention to conversion rates across the board in a lot of things, not only just e-commerce, like as far as the people landing on the site and converting, going into the shopping cart, but also how many people are signing up for newsletters, or intake as far as people calling and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move this to Anton. So a lot of people, when they start out, you got to do a ton of stuff, starting a store, you got to do all this shit. And how do you tell your students, when did they start looking at conversions, or how do you prioritize?
right away,
things?
I say right away, but I was just like, Will, it was like a year or two. And were you making money before you started looking into it?
Yeah.
So it was the same thing with me. I was doing well for a year or two. I think it was closer to 2 years. And then I read an article that you can actually track where sales came from. And to me, that was like, whoa, what? Yeah. And I already had this huge business. But I read 20 pages in the 4-hour work week about e-commerce, and then just went on myself like, okay, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. So once I found out you could start actually tracking, all of that, my business completely changed. So it was a while after I started, but now I tell everyone from day one, that first sale, you want to know where that came from, and it'll save you tons of money and a lot of time. So
yeah, I was lucky that I learned from these guys where right from the first sale, I was like, I want everyone that comes on my website, I want them to buy something, and if they don't buy something, I'm almost mad. I'm like, why didn't they buy? Am I doing something wrong? Am I missing something? Is the checkout not working? So what I did was, from the very first day that I started making sales, I would go through that exact product page and ask myself, why did this customer purchase, or why didn't they purchase? And one thing that helped a lot was looking at the abandoned shopping carts, because to me, if someone's gonna go through the process of adding something to the cart and going through halfway of the checkout, why are they leaving it before they put their credit card information in? And to me, there's no reason why they should. If they're going to go through that, that means they want it, and something scared them off. So I would go through that entire process. I would put in my own credit card, up to a point, before it charges and cancel it. But I want to make sure everything's smooth. And a lot of times, there's little tiny things. Like I realized, like my header, looked funny. So maybe that in the shopping cart versus on the store. So maybe that kind of lost some trust, or the phone number wasn't there, or they forget what the free shipping coupon was, or the free shipping coupon wasn't working. Or little tiny things like that. I would ask myself as a customer, if I'm going through this process, why in the world wouldn't I buy? And from that first day, I've always wanted 100% conversion. And I know the industry average is probably closer to 1%. And so I know it's not actually possible to have 100% conversion, but in my mind, that's what I always strive for and always optimize for.
Yeah, I remember you said that to me like a couple months ago. I remember that's a pretty good mindset to have. Like your product pages should have 100% conversion rate, even though it's literally impossible to have that.
Right, but you shouldn't be the reason your customer's not buying from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you should really hit like home runs on those product pages.
I mean, for today, I just looked at my dashboard for Shopify earlier, and I only had 57 visitors, which isn't a lot for entire site. But I made, I think it was $3,800 in sales off of 57 visitors. So to me, I'm like, okay, that's good. I want everyone that comes to buy something. And if you're not going to buy something, just don't come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we had a chat with Will the other day about funnels, right? Because you were kind of obsessing about this. So when you look at, like, say, Johnny's 57 visitors, he made 3,000 today. Like, where do you look at your own funnel to optimize first when you're looking at everything?
Yeah. So one of the things, I think these guys might sell higher transaction goods. Well, my average transaction size is like $30. So we're getting tons of customers a day. Yeah. So I really try to maximize.
And before we get into that, your average size is 30. What are your guys at about?
Over 1,000. Yeah. You're like what, Johnny? Average sale price?
Between $300 and $1,000.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I think it depends on the transaction size. Take a step back. I think with my business, I really try to focus on like the after the sale process and getting them back and improving the lifetime value of the customer. And I think a lot of businesses don't really do a good job of kind of optimizing the after the sale process.
Yeah.
So that's we spend a lot of time on that. Cause I don't have like a statistic that I can throw out, but it's so much easier to sell to a customer that you've already acquired than to acquire a new one.
100%, especially in a product like yours where there's no reason for them not to buy more of a product.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in some niches, like let's say you're selling something, like a big piece of furniture or something, it's not like they're going to buy another couch from you anytime soon. But maybe you can sell some other stuff. But if I had a product like face wash or shaving cream, I would sell it to them every month.
Yeah. All right. So Johnny, how do you approach your funnel when you're optimizing everything?
So it was a long process. I mean, it was months of, really just thinking from a customer's point of view and, going in and say, first step is, can they even find my site? Can they even find my product page? So what I'll do is install Retopia, which is a VPN, and it makes it, I can basically say, okay, if I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'm Googling this product, where will I show up? And if I'm not showing up right away, on either in the Google ads or somewhere on the front page, they're not gonna find me anyway. So it doesn't even matter what your conversion is. So I'll make sure first they can find me. Second, right when they land, I want, as a customer, would I buy from these guys? Do I trust these guys? Does the price look like I'm getting a good deal? Do I have an immediate call to action? Is there a reason why I should buy right now versus buy it, save it for next week to buy? So little things like having, these expiring coupon codes or limited time offers, like a free bonus gift or free shipping, that encourages people to buy right away. And this is all stuff I learned from Anton, and I actually implemented it. I know a lot of people will do a course and then hear this stuff and they'll just be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and not do it. But actually, implementing these things makes all the difference. I just pulled up my Shopify app and 73 visitors today, $3,836 in sales. And what I do is anyone that doesn't buy, I ask why. So immediately, the banned shopping carts are actually a good thing because I have their email address, I have their zip code, I can see what they did. And most of the time, it's something like they got to the checkout, but they forgot to put in the free shipping coupon. So all I had to do is email them and say, hey, I noticed you didn't put in this free shipping coupon. Would you still like to buy? You can save this amount of money. or if they didn't even get that far, I can figure out why they didn't buy.
So are you emailing these guys? Are you calling them, or how are you getting this feedback?
Now it's all set up. Shopify has a automatic abandoned cart email system, but in the beginning, I would call or email them manually. I mean, it was, I think Dan and Ian from Tropical MBA always say, make a cold call, right? And I was doing that. I was like, you know what? I know this might be weird to some customers, but in the beginning, it's vital for me to find out why they're not buying, and even more vital to find out why they did buy. So I would email every single customer that did buy personally and ask them about the experience. And that, number one, that gave me referrals. They recommend their friends, or they would rebuy something else. But also, more importantly, they would tell me what they liked about my site, how they were feeling towards it. There's some people that openly said, yeah, I wasn't really sure, because I don't really trust buying stuff online. And this still happens in 2014. People are still wary of buying stuff online. So when I found out from them that they were, skeptical of an authorized dealer or not, I really made sure on the website to make it, to show them right in their face, hey, look, we're an authorized dealer, we're legit. Here's a phone number. Here's all of our information.
Yeah, awesome. And how about you, Anton? How did you get, look at Convergence? You've been in this business a lot longer than all of us.
Yeah, basically the same thing, like the way Johnny's doing it now. The way I get buyers, it's very late in the buying cycle. So all my traffic that's coming in, it's through long tail keywords, usually including SKU numbers, and it's people that are just looking to buy. So I know they want the product. I don't really have to sell them the product. I have to sell them the opportunity to buy from my store instead of one of my competitors. And obviously with dropshipping, you have a lot of competition. It's not like I'm the only store selling these items. So the main thing I do is try to just instill trust with my site. The phone number is huge for that. And then also having a really solid address. I have 2 different addresses that I use for 2 different businesses, but both based in Manhattan. I have one on Madison Avenue, one on Park Avenue. So, they are my addresses. They're UPS stores, but it looks like I have, suites at these big office buildings. So that definitely helps. And obviously just even customer service information on my websites. I have pages only for customer service that, huge articles written about how great it is. So things like that really help. I found that customers that call in, when I ask them, why did you buy from us? Because I do the same as Johnny, especially when I first got started, survey my customers and find out why they chose me over everyone else. And most of the time it's because they say, because of your customer service, because I called and someone picked up the phone. So that's huge. He mentioned the expiring coupon codes to kind of stress urgency. Again, the things I sell, I get people late in the buying cycle. So I know they're going to buy somewhere and they're probably going to buy soon. So some people might not like the way I do this, but twice a week I have a different coupon that will expire. So every Wednesday night at midnight, every Sunday night at midnight. So when I'm getting customers, I know 95% of my traffic is a first-time visitor, just because of the nature of the items I sell. It's not like a product people will buy over and over. So they land on my site, they see, oh, maybe I have 3 days, maybe I have 1 day, and then this coupon's going to expire. Let me just take advantage of this company. I could trust them. I see their address. I see their phone number. And that's how I convert most of my traffic. But it's not a long type funnel. It's people that want to buy, and I just try to get them to choose me right away when they're on my site first visit.
And so the 2 weeks is just like a little prodding thing to get them to actually finish everything.
It's twice a week it expires, so it's only a few days at the most when they'll come to my site.
Oh, so say I come on Monday, it'll expire Thursday.
It'll expire, Wednesday. But you'll see on the top, I use Hello Bar app, so you'll see that, like limited time coupon, either free shipping or maybe 5% off, whatever it is. It's different for every site. But, enter this coupon code, expires Wednesday, then the date at midnight. So it's just something to think, do I really want to buy this? Do I want to take advantage? Okay, I'll buy it now. And when I started doing that, sales went up in a big way, almost 50% on most of my sites. So that's huge, and I highly recommend everyone does that.
Is this an app or like a plugin?
It's an app, yeah. Oh, I use the coupon codes. I use Shopify now, so they have the the coupon engine built in. But I use the Hello Bar app to promote it.
Oh, this is the one that comes up on the top.
It stays on the top no matter where you
pixels,
are.
That's
Right.
it. Oh, okay. Yep. Interesting. All right, very cool. And so let's go through the mistakes you guys have made kind of starting out.
So many.
You want to go first?
No, I'll let someone else go first.
All right, so we'll go first.
Yeah, I think some of the mistakes I've made in building a brand is cheapening the products and just kind of doing these mass discounts. It's really
we're talking like 20% plus, or
yeah, stuff like that. There's all sorts of copywriting tricks out there that you can do, like first name in the email, say 50% off for 48 hours only, or some like just kind of ridiculous thing to get them to opt in that has an extremely high conversion rate. Because sometimes conversion rate really doesn't tell the story in the long run. In the short run, it's great. It's like you get these massive,
spikes in
email
sales.
open rates, massive spikes in sales. But then you're kind of training the customer to only shop with you when you offer a discount or something like that. So if you're listening and you have a product that is, you expect customers to come back and shop with, I would really think about, how you're going to approach discounts and stuff like that.
Yes. How much do you guys discount across the board usually?
It's not across the board. It's different for every site, depending on what my margins are. At the most, 10%. Usually either free shipping or 5%. But free shipping, I don't have any sites that I charge for shipping anyway. But to make customers think it's only for a few days, I'll use a free shipping coupon code.
Yeah. And you?
Yeah. So for me, what I do is I match whatever the competitors' prices are. So I would actually rather have them have higher prices. I don't want to be the discount guy. I don't want to be the low margin, high volume guy. I want to sell for a quality products for as much as I possibly can, without trying to undercut anyone else. So that's what I do. I basically Google all my products like I was a customer, and I would see what everyone else is selling for, and I'll just match the price. And I think it's ridiculous that new sites will pop up and try to undercut everyone, because that'll work for a week until everyone else sees it. Then they lower the price, and then you lower the price again, and eventually nobody has any margins for anything.
But what's good is I've seen that happen over and over in a lot of my niches, and the sites just disappear. So like some of my sites that have been up for almost a decade now are still around, and I've seen so many competitors that pop up, and I'm like nervous because they're basically giving stuff away, but they don't last. They'll get terrible reviews, and they won't be able to stay in business.
Yeah, because they can't offer good customer service by not have any margins. Exactly. So now that I'm getting into manufacturing my own product and having my own brand, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow other competitors basically to sell my stuff, and I'll drop ship for them. So instead of just being the
drop shipper, you can offer it.
Exactly. I can become the supplier. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my MAP policy, my minimum advertised price policy, extremely high. So if a product is, let's say, $600 retail, my minimum advertised price is gonna be $499.99 plus free shipping. That's it. And if anyone wants to sell for less, you're out of the deal. You can't sell it.
Yeah, I think Tim Ferriss talked about this in his book. Remember, in 4 Hour Workweek, how people were selling T-shirts and then they start cutting each other, and everyone just dies.
Yeah.
There's no ceiling. It's the floor.
That's the worst way. If you live by price, you die by price. Yeah. I think Dan Kennedy said that or something like that. It's the worst way to grow a business.
I had some guy email me today. He wants me to offer him phone support for his business. He said him and his, I probably shouldn't talk about it. Right. He said this guy emailed me. Well, he bought into a business for $800,000 for 1/3 of a business. It's a dropship business, and I don't know what they looked at when they were reviewing everything. But he said it's not making any money, and he just sees opportunities. The revenue's so high, and it's like, no, you don't want to do that. You could have a business that does 8 figures a year, but if the margins are negative, what are you doing? So a lot of people look at the big number and not what they should be looking at, which is how much is left over. So
So when you guys started learning conversions, when did you guys figure out the right thing to focus on? Because there's so many things you can optimize. What was your path like starting out?
For me, it was when I figured out tracking, how tracking works, and that I could track each traffic source. And then what I realized is that my overall conversion rate really doesn't matter, because there's so many different ways that I send traffic to my stores, and a lot of it's paid. So my overall conversion rates for my stores, I don't even care what that number is. I care what Google PLAs are. I care what Amazon product ads are. I care if I'm on different blogs, what each of those blogs conversion rate is. So I think too many people just look at their mean conversion rate. Meanwhile, it could be so skewed, like mine was. So I knew what it was based just on. Back then I was using Yahoo stores. So when you log into their dashboard, you have your visitors and then your sales. So I was just, simple division. Okay, my conversion rate for my store is whatever. And then once I started using Google Analytics for e-commerce and tracking what each blog was doing for me, I realized that most of my traffic to my site was from blogs that didn't convert at all. Like literally no sales, that I was spending, hundreds of dollars across all different blogs that just weren't working. So I cut that all off. My traffic went down, but my sales went up. So my conversion rate went up. I put more money into what was working. And so that's my main thing. That was my biggest mistake, not tracking each traffic source.
And this was back in 6 years ago?
I would say, because I started 2000. This is probably in 2008, 2009 when I started really focusing on each traffic source and how they convert.
Is this the same methodology you use today too, or has it changed over the years?
Everything's pretty much the same. I mean, the fundamentals of the business don't change. I used to get away with a lot less phone support. I find now it's necessary. You need a phone number. I think in any price point, the lowest I really go is around $500. My sale price, and even at that price, I used to not offer phone numbers in some of my sites to kind of save on call center costs, but it doesn't work anymore. People want that phone number. So yeah.
You just think about it yourself. When you're going to buy something that's $1,000 online, it's kind of scary to just send it to nethers of the internet, and then not know where it shows up.
Yeah, and most of the calls really are just people saying, "I just wanted to speak to someone before I place my order. Here's my credit card number." So it's not, it's not a big deal. But.
Well, what's really funny about that is I remember a few years ago, people and Tim Ferriss wrote about this, saying that if you have these automated call, things, it makes it sound like you have a big company. Like
you have a press one for secretary.
And now people hate that. People love it when they call and someone just answers the phone like, "Hi, thanks for calling."
Like, hello. Like, is this an answering machine or?
People love it.
They appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost the exact opposite. Where now, if someone just like a normal regular Joe just picks up the phone, they love that 100 times more than if it sounds like you're a big company and you have a directory.
Yeah.
So things change, and you have to stay on top of that. And as someone who buys a lot of things online myself, I really understand the customer psychology. Like, what would I personally want? Like, why would I buy shoes from Zappos.com versus Amazon.com? And I have to buy my shoes online because I wear double extra wide, double E shoes. And when I go on Amazon, it might be a little bit cheaper, but I can't sort by size and in stock and color. It's confusing. It brings me everywhere. Versus in Zappos, I can see, really simply what, what's actually in stock or not. And Zappos has, great photos. They have like a little 30-second video with everything, so I can see it live. Because sometimes in photos you can't really tell what it looks like or what the color really looks like. But if someone actually has just, the Zappos style videos are really short, and it just makes me more comfortable to buy. So at the end of the day, as long as it's not that much more expensive than buying somewhere else, I'd rather buy from Zappos than like Overstock or some eBay or some kind of discounter.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back into the topic a little bit. When you were learning conversions, so Anton was saying how you started with traffic sources. Did you follow the same school because you learned all from him, or did you do something new on your own?
I started with Anton's method because that's basically how I learned e-commerce. I actually, before I met Anton, I didn't even know what dropshipping was, and it's a bit embarrassing. But I went home and I went to Wikipedia. I typed in dropshipping, and that's really my first experience to it. But ever since then, I've been kind of doing it more on my own, trying to figure it out, what my style is, and also kind of, the things for my niche. Like, so with Anton's method, he likes to have, lots of products, like thousands of products. But with my stores, I actually like to specialize in sites that only have a couple hundred products, but really give, a lot of information, a lot of value to my customers to make it, easy for them to buy. So I really, really concentrate on having every single product page optimized 100% for 100% conversion. And one thing I would say, the number one best thing that I've learned from is there was an infographic that was, basically just the sales process, and for all e-commerce stores out there. And I don't remember who made this infographic, but I remember looking through it and looking at the percentages of who abandoned shopping carts, why, how much videos matter, how much certain things matter. And I sat through and I actually analyzed this this little infographic for over an hour. I'm just like, what here is important, what here isn't. And that actually became the main video now. So if you go to optimize like a boss.com, the very first video is me talking about this infographic and breaking it down for, I think it's like a 45-minute video. It's a really long video for just a short infographic, but the customer psychology behind it matters so much. If you try to put numbers to why Zappos converts better than Amazon or Overstock, yeah, you'll have some facts and figures. But if you ask, the actual customers, why do you buy from Zappos versus Overstock, Amazon? A lot of that is not really quantifiable through just numbers alone. It's emotion, it's trust, it's the sincerity of buying from a store that specializes in what you want, and that you're going to get a good product, and that somebody actually cares.
Yeah, I think there's like the brand equity of Zappos too, where they're shoe guys, and Amazon just kind of, you can buy anything. You buy ham, fucking shoes.
Yeah, and that's
water.
one thing actually, like regarding what I've done to increase conversions. When I first started, all my stores were more shopping. They were like shopping mall type stores. You can come in, break it down, and go to a million different things on one store. And I started to identify which niches on my first stores were doing the best, and then I broke them off into their own, and that resulted in a lot higher conversion rates. So now I only have niche specific stores.
Gotcha. Very cool. All right, so Will, how did you learn conversions?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the process of pivoting, I guess. I mean, kind of what Anton was was talking about earlier.
Because I think whenever you hear like Anton, Johnny, or Dan and Ian, everyone has their own school of converting. But then, like, what do I integrate? Like, what do I pick and choose? And I think it gets confusing.
Well, I mean, he went into it a lot better than I can, like on the conversion rate, like how that can be all over the place, why that data point can be crazy based on traffic. And then like what Johnny said, you know, I only need like 70 visitors to make $3,000, you know, something like that. So what I'm more focusing on is how many new customers we're getting. It's kind of a statistic a lot of people don't talk about, but that's something in the future. So I'm trying to look past conversion rate, look past revenue. I think
so. You're looking at like real organic growth,
like how many customers we're acquiring every month, and how many customers are coming back and stuff like that. There's really not a lot of great tools out in the marketplace to do that. I was talking to Ben Hubert from Natural Snacks about this. We've ranted about it a lot. But so that's kind of where I'm kind of moving towards in the future.
Why did you decide to focus on this?
Because I think conversion, because I've noticed like our conversion rate has dropped before, but like, we're doing better than we've ever done. So it's like, well, what does that even mean, And then I've noticed that revenue is kind of a fruitless thing to focus on. And that I think as you get your funnel really, really optimized, then I think at that point, it's just like, well, how many customers are we getting, and how are we increasing the transaction size of those customers? That's kind of what I'm focusing on.
If I was in Will's market and what's the website, Chiefsformen.com, I would concentrate more on the lifetime value of each customer, because once they start using the product, I use Will's shaving cream and it's great, and I'll just keep using it because now I'm a customer. And it doesn't matter how much he made selling me that first tub of shaving cream, as long as I continue using that for the next 20, 30 years, the lifetime value of me as a customer is going to be huge. Not only because I'm going to buy it myself, but everyone that comes over, they're going to see it and they're going to get that brand recognition. People are going to ask me, hey, what's the best shaving cream? I'll recommend it. And that is hard to track. It's not like, saying, okay, do I have a 1.5% conversion rate or do I have a 4% conversion rate? That's how much is my company growing every year, because I have satisfied customers that keep buying and keep recommending my product.
Yeah. So as both of you guys as dropshippers, how do you approach it? Because I know your products are a lot higher priced. Maybe they're one-time purchase, maybe twice in a lifetime. How do you guys look at things?
That's exactly the thing. I'd say almost all my customers, if not all, are once in a lifetime customers. I have some niches that I sell to that are commercial. So people will buy, for different clients' jobs. So they'll keep coming back to me. Those customers, I just try to give the best support and, the most one-on-one attention. But my average customer is someone that's going to see my store once, buy once, and I'll never hear from them again. So I really don't have any experience with tracking the lifetime value of the customer. It's usually that first sale and then they're gone.
Yeah. So for me, that was the case for the first 8 months of my business. And this last month, I've really been concentrating more on, trying to get the repeat customers and trying to, basically get word of mouth instead of having people having to spend more ad dollars to acquire a new customer. I really want referrals. And so I actually get a lot of referrals now, which is nice. And the way I do that is just by really providing the best customer service. And little easy ways to do that is sending people personal emails, thanking them, really personally thanking them for their purchases and following up. There's an app called Aftership, which basically all it does is once you fulfill a product and you put in the FedEx or UPS tracking number, it updates the customer every step of the way. So it'll email them, say, hey Terry, just let you know your product is on the truck for delivery. Hey Terry, just let you know UPS has left the package at your front door.
Yeah, that's what I want to know, because we're always tracking stuff. When we get the tracking number, you're just like, boom, boom, where is it? And if you reduce the friction like that, it's like it relieves my mind from thinking about this stuff too.
Customers really appreciate things like that.
Yeah, they love. I actually at first when I first heard about Aftership, I'm like, oh, what's the point of it? Because I already sent them an email with the tracking number, and it's probably going to come within 2 days of that anyways. It's not it's not that big of a deal. Why would someone care if it's on the truck, or why would someone care if it's delivered? They already have it. But the fact is, after I installed that, I've had customers reply to that email all the time because it comes from my personal email address. And they're like, hey, thanks so much. That's such good customer service. Or like, oh, I'm at work right now, but I'm so glad that now I know it's on my front door. I can't wait to open it. Yeah. And what I do now is I make it really, really personal. And if they personally write me back, And then instead of sending them another automated email, I actually send them a real email. I look at their order and I'll say, hey, I noticed you ordered this, product in this, in this style. I really hope you like it, and let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to tell your friends about us.
Yeah. So let's go into this a little deeper. So what have been some little things you've noticed that maybe seemed inconsequential but have been a big impact?
Yeah. So kind of what Johnny was talking about earlier with Aftership. There's 2 notification emails in Shopify. Everyone here is on Shopify for the most part.
Yeah.
BigCommerce.
Yeah. But BigCommerce has the same.
to,
I just don't know the
to.
terms they use, but it's the order confirmation email and the shipping confirmation email. The open rates on those are like 99%. Everyone is going to open the email about the order they just bought or the order they just bought is now shipping. So I tell people to hit a grand slam on those emails. So we just really give all sorts of value. We do like PS, like if you want to buy a gift card for your friend. We do another one on one of the emails where it's like PS, if you know a store in your local neighborhood that might be interested in carrying Chiefs, send us an email. So then we get the email from the customer and then we forward it to this wholesaler, and now we're like already engaging with the wholesale account. So I always tell people to really, really think about their touch points.
Yeah.
I call those like a touch point. A touch point could be the shipping confirmation email, order confirmation email. It could just be like your voicemail system. And go through all of those, have a goal, and then just, really, really kind of split test them and optimize them.
Yeah, I think our friend John McIntyre calls those transactional emails rather than like content marketing emails.
Yeah.
It's funny because I do the same thing, and like I realized this only maybe 3 years ago. What a good opportunity it is to market other things to the customers once they've already purchased. So, like I said, now I do all the niche specific stores because I don't want to kind of distract the customers. If they want a desk, go to the desk site, buy the desk, and then what I'll do in my transaction emails, the confirmation, I'll put a coupon code. Thank you for choosing our stores. I have a network of different stores, and then I'll include links to the related ones. So not to every store I own, but if they bought a desk, okay, here's a chair. Here's my computer chair site. You get 10% off because you're a customer. Thank you for putting your trust in us. Here's a link. And then there's also lots of niches that I won't sell in, either because the price points are too low or because I just see them being too customer service intensive. So I build Amazon affiliate stores for them, and then I'll include those links in the email as well. And it leads to just so much more money out of each customer without any more work. It's an automated email and it's just extra sales. So
and they're opening it too.
Exactly. And they're going to be looking at it. So you have to take advantage of that.
Yeah. I talked to a store owner, I think Diamond Candles, what they do is they send you a coupon, but it's if you give a friend $10 off, you'll get another $10 off yourself too. And it kind of builds that viral
That's
thing.
Curebit, I think.
I think so, yeah. I can't remember. It was like a year ago too.
I actually turned that one off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have bad experience with that?
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot of you could probably optimize it, but like I kind of moved away from the whole like get $10 off if you refer a friend and
Yeah,
stuff.
you can get a little spammy.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a right way to do it. And that's a really cool app. I recommend if that's kind of something you're interested in.
I mean, I feel like if your product is good enough for people, for people to recommend, they should recommend it without getting anything in return for it. I mean, it's nice to remind them, hey, we would really appreciate if you recommended your friends. But they shouldn't have to have an incentive to do it. The incentive should be they had a great experience with you. You offered good customer service, and that should be enough.
Yeah, I think Dan talked about this in a recent episode, how if you're offering big discounts, it's a bigger sign that your value proposition isn't strong enough for people to just share it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So how have you guys tweaked that, like your value propositions over the years with various stores you guys have had?
I mean, my pricing is pretty consistent with my competition. I sometimes charge more, but I can't get crazy with it because my traffic comes from very direct results, like a SKU number. So it's easy for people to see my competitors. Of course, if those prices aren't profitable, I'll charge more and offer that better customer service and try to make my site look much more credible. That's kind of how I try to stand out. Another thing that I've done to increase conversions are trust seals. So I use TrustGuard, and it was something I held off for years because I thought, this isn't going to help. Like if I see it on a website, I kind of think it looks spammy, but I know I'm not my customer. So I put it on, and that really helped. So just things like that to really make customers trust me and choose my store. But I don't try just to raise my prices much higher. I really can't go lower because there's no money to be made. So
yeah, I remember you had a blog post, Johnny, about how I think Anton called you out for being dumb for not having the trust seal. So, so what was your experience with that?
So 8 months ago, Anton said you should install a trust seal, and I said okay. And then 2 months ago, Anton said, you still haven't installed it. And I'm like, I know. I don't want to pay $29 a month for it. You know? So
this is the GeoTrust SSL seal, or is
No, this one is it's a company called TrustGuard.
it's trust-guard.com.
Yeah, trust that. Yeah.
And so the reason why I didn't want to install it is, first of all, it's cheap. I don't want to pay $30 a month for this stupid looking seal. And it really does look spammy and crappy. And what I did was I said, okay, I'm just gonna make my own version. So I think I photoshopped myself a trust seal, and I was like, all right, there you go, it's free. I'm gonna use this. And I mean, who knows? Maybe helped a little bit, maybe didn't. And then finally, I think it was just a few weeks ago, a month ago, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hunker down and pay $30 a month for this thing. And I think the very next day, I had 2 big orders. Both over $1,000 orders that normally they would either call or email, kind of just make sure we were a real store, but they didn't. They just bought, and I was like, huh. I mean, it could be a coincidence. The problem with TrustGuard is there's no real way for you to know if it worked, because it's like a emotional thing. And I can't even ask the customer, hey, did you buy this because you saw a trust seal?
Yeah, they wouldn't even notice.
Yeah,
Because they don't know.
Yeah.
It's like this subconscious thing. But all I know is it's either the TrustGuard seal or the fact that I finally, hunkered down and said, okay, let me just do this. Let me do everything that Anton actually said to do. Because I think when I was doing that, I ended up making other changes too. Because I finally said, okay, you know what? Let me just do this correctly. The very next day, made 2 sales, and consistently, it's been about a month after that now, I've been getting less phone calls and more of these big, ticket sales. I don't remember what the blog post was, but if you go to johnnyfd.com and search trust seal, I wrote everything about it. And I put up some screenshots of how my conversions changed from before and afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But are they actually testing anything on your site, or is it just like something you paid $30 for and you just get a logo?
What do you mean, are they testing?
The test.
Oh, yeah, it's a joke. That's why I don't trust anything like that. I haven't for years, but they make you verify your address, I think. You send, I signed up so long ago, I don't remember. I think I had to send something that said I own this mailbox at an UPS store, and
They verify your phone number.
Yeah, they call you. Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's more of it's there for customers, and customers trust it.
There's some of these things like the Better Business Bureau things. I mean, any of you guys in that?
No, I can't
I've
stand
thought about
them.
it.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
BTB is a scam.
Yeah. If you get one negative thing, they want you to pay so much money just to be part of it and have them take it off. And
I mean, that's the hard thing about all these things on the internet, like Yelp even. It's designed, with good intentions in the beginning, and then it becomes this huge behemoth where they're making so much money from it that they, basically use it as a way to have leverage on business owners. I've heard so many negative things about Yelp where, let's say you own a restaurant and you don't want to pay Yelp the monthly fee, which is a lot. I don't remember what it is. It might even be $1,000 a month now to be a premium member on Yelp. If you don't pay that, what they'll do is they'll push up all of the negative reviews on your restaurant.
Just bully you, huh?
Yeah, and if you do pay the $1,000 a month, they'll push those away. And then what they'll do is they'll actually filter them out now. So if you go to Yelp and look at any store, any restaurant, at the very bottom in very, very small text, they'll have something that says show filter results. And when you click that, then you'll see all of the reviews, not just the ones that they want to show you.
So it's in gray, light color, you probably can't see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. I never really knew that.
I have no idea. Huh. All right, very cool. So where were we? Let's check out what we got on different.
We're crushing it in life, buddy. That's what we're doing. We're here in Saigon, Vietnam, at Anton's baller apartment.
Yeah, we'll take a picture here. We'll post it on the episode. So, all right. So let's kind of wrap this a little bit. So, if someone's looking to optimize their funnel, say they've been in business, half a year, they have some sales, they want to say double their conversion. Where would you suggest they even start? Or is it a mindset thing they need to get right first, or kind of a really tactical thing, something very technical?
I would say technical, the easiest things you could do, make sure that your website is targeting your customers. So think about who your customer is, who's coming to your website that's going to buy, and optimize your site just design-wise to appeal to them. That makes a huge difference. Something I didn't really think about in the beginning, but definitely plays a factor. So just, find out who the customer is, make sure your site looks like what they want to see. An example of that, my sister, she just started a dropship site. right before Christmas, and it's like appealing to like hipsters, right? So she's really good with design. I have no experience with that, so she put up this site that looks awesome. Not something I'm interested in, but it appeals to her market, and it's converting like twice as well as any of my sites do amongst all traffic sources. So yeah, build a site that appeals to your market. If you can't do it yourself, pay someone to do it for you. And on top of that, to increase conversions, the easiest way to do it is have that phone number and make sure you pick up the phone, because I ask people, why did you buy from me? And a lot of times they say, you're the first company that answer the phone. And it's like, what? Like, okay, I'll take it. But, so have a phone number and answer it. Other than that, what else do I do? Have an address on the site. People want to know that, you're real, even if it's just I wouldn't use a P.O. box. I would go to a mailbox, etc. store. So you can get what's called a suite. It just looks more professional. I'd recommend having that. It could be a high profile address, some either in a big city. You could do it all online. I would say do that. And yeah, that's the easiest way to get started.
So when you take phone calls, you're just walking around streets of Vietnam?
No. I haven't taken phone calls myself in a long time. I have a call center I use now in the States that, they answer them for me. But I used to, when I was first starting, for years I was on the phone.
Yeah. I have a gal in the U.S. that picks up the phones for me as well. Mainly because I don't want to be, picking up calls at 2 a.m. out here. But I would say one of the best things you can do is show that your company has a face, that you guys have real employees behind it, that you're not just this anonymous online company. When you're in your About Us page, have a video of you or somebody from your team just saying, hey, this is John from Chiefs. This is Will from Chiefs. I have nothing to do with Chiefs. But like, hey, I'm this is
spokesperson.
Yeah, this is Will from Chiefs, and this is our story. On our Contact Us page, have another video saying, hey, this is John. Your
email will go to me. I'll reply to it.
I'll take care of you. People just want to see that face. There's a lot of little things like that Anton was mentioning, but here's the thing: is you as an e-commerce store owner, you probably know, at least you've heard, what you should be doing. Just actually do it. Don't be like me and be an idiot and not, install this trust seal for 8 months when I knew it works.
How much do you think you missed out on not installing this?
I don't think about it. To be honest.
You think you maybe get another watch right now?
Yeah. And we all, everything in life, not just with e-commerce conversions, but everything in life, we know what we actually should do, but we get lazy, or I think people are lazy. You don't want to do something even though you know it works. You have to get hit over the head 8 times before you do it. Just hunker down and do it. That's it.
Yeah.
My recommendation, I think we touched on it earlier, is start with your product pages and really hit a home run there. Put FAQs on them. Put multiple buy now buttons on them. Just kind of go through everything that as a consumer might think when he lands on this page. Have a phone number. Maybe test it on your friends. You can go Mechanical Turk and get people to quickly scrutinize the page or something like that.
A lot of people don't know what Mechanical Turk is, and it's awesome. It's an Amazon service where people will, you're going to hire people to do these little tiny jobs. And I read an article where they said use Mechanical Turk to split test. So basically what you do is you have people go to your site and click whatever favorite banner ad they like, or whatever favorite page they like. And with Amazon, with Mechanical Turk, I can't say it. With Mechanical Turk, it's a little bit different because these people are actually getting paid to do this. But you can also do this just even on your Facebook page and say, hey, which image do you like better? And whichever one they like more, this is the one I should use for my product page.
Yeah, I think some other things that have helped on the product pages is when a huge photo that they can zoom in on, crystal clear guarantee, crystal clear shipping policy, stuff like that. And then I think I would also build out on some of the other pages. It depends on your site, but I guarantee that About page gets hit a lot. That FAQ gets hit a lot. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we just kind of link them back into the funnel to get them back to a product page.
And it's very important, like you just said, I forgot to even mention that, the shipping policy, the return policy. Almost everyone that buys, at least on my sites, hit those 2 pages first. So like you said, as clear as possible, leave no questions to be asked, so they know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah. And I think Will had a good point how every shipping page, About Us page, in the end, he links it back to his product, so they don't just get lost and go somewhere else.
Very smart.
At the same time, I don't like to give the customers way too much information. I've seen some sites where they give all the terms for the shipping, and people get confused. I mean, there's too much information. They're like, oh, I don't know. This sounds like a lot of work now. So what I do is I know I have very fair shipping policies and very fair return policies. So I just write that. I said, we guarantee good service, and I stand by that. But I don't give them all the terms. I said, if you want to know more, then click here. And that way, all you have to do is say we have a low price guarantee and then have a link to it. You don't have to write all the terms and conditions of it. You put fast shipping, and have a link to the shipping page. You don't have to actually list all of the product page. On the product page, all you want is enough information, just enough information for someone to buy.
Well, you're talking about linking to your pages, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like when they're on.
Right.
Like only have
page.
one call to action on the product page. Yeah.
Right.
Some people have. That's another thing. Some people have like the sidebar still enabled with like the newsletter opt-in. It's like you need to turn that sidebar off if you're using WordPress or something like that. The only call to action on your product pages should be buy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So one thing I didn't touch on is looking at competitor sites. I'm sure you guys have certain competitors in the market. When you're at their site, what goes on in your mind? Like, do you try to take what's working for them and try it on your own site, or what goes through in your mind?
I used to try that. What I do now, as far as my policies go, I kind of, if someone's offering free shipping, or if my top 3 competitors are offering free shipping, then I have to. It's not like a question. So of course I look to my competition. But when I first started, I would try to just emulate everything they do, and I've moved away from that because now I kind of know what works for my stores based on what I've been doing. So not as much. But when I first started, I actually got a cease and desist letter because I went a step too far on copying a competitor's site. But yeah, so I look to them for their policies and what suppliers they sell for, so I can sell for them myself.
Yeah, because there's always a thing where you want to learn from what's working from someone, right? It's kind of like when you just don't reinvent the wheel, but then where do you cross the line?
Exactly.
Copying someone too much.
You take their design, that's crossing the line. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good in the beginning to take a look at your competition to see what they're doing well and what they're not doing well. But at the end of the day, what I really like is looking at it from a customer's point of view and ask myself, what more value can I give my customer? Can I write a better description that makes it easier for the customer to understand what they're getting? Can I add a little video to make it so people can see what the product looks like? Can I add more photos and actually show the product in all different options versus just having one stock standard photo? Little things like this really help it convert better.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, man. So let's wrap things up. Actually, no, sorry. I forgot Will's. How do you look at your competition? I'm sorry.
I don't really get too focused on it.
Yeah, because your niche is kind of its own kind of you're competing against Gillette.
There's so many competitors out there. I mean, you've got people. Yeah. Gillette, owned by Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest companies in the world, and then there's people making soap in their kitchen and selling them on Etsy. So I don't really get too focused on it. I think if you're stuck and you're just starting out, I think I would recommend not necessarily just copying exactly what the competitor is doing, but copy their shipping policies and copy everything, because that's been tested in the market. And what a lot of people do is they try to innovate too much without proving if their business is profitable. So if you're on the fence and you're stuck, just do exactly as what your competitor is doing, and then iterate and innovate over time.
Yeah, it's not copy, get inspired by.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the exact same thing as my story. So when I started, I basically copied Anton's method. I was like, okay, I don't know anything about dropshipping. Tell me exactly what to do. And I was like, okay, let me watch all the videos on AntonMethod.com. Let me do exactly what he says to do, and made my first couple sales. I was like, okay, now this works. Dropshipping works. He showed me how to set up the Shopify store, how to write the descriptions. I even used his Anton's the shipping return policy page. I just copy and pasted his template. But over time, I was like, okay, now I understand what e-commerce is. I understand what having, a store is. What can I do to tweak it? So what I did is I rewrote the shipping handling and the shipping and returns policy pages to, really fit my products more. I rewrote all the descriptions, I rewrote all the stuff, and now it's more personal, and it's just over time, it changed. And actually what's funny is, I almost feel like it's in these last 8 months, I've learned more about online business than I would have if I did a 4-year MBA at a top school.
Of course, yeah.
And I got paid to do it, which is awesome.
And
And
not taking 100K in debt or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that.
And
Spending 2 years.
I never would have even considered this, but I think one of the biggest ways to learn is helping others. And I was at Pun Space, which is a co-working space in Chiang Mai, and I was showing someone who took Anton's course how to optimize his store for more sales. And I was just like, oh yeah, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I think like 1 or 2 days later, he came back and he was like, dude, I just made 2 sales, thank you. And Anton overheard it and he said, what did you tell him to do? And Anton suggested, can you do a screenshot, not a screenshot,
Screencast.
like a screencast of everything that you changed on this guy's site for him to make more sales and record it for the members. So it ended up being, at first it was just going to be like a 1 video or something, but it ended up being like, I don't know, 15 videos or something. So now it's optimized like a boss.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, we're on for an hour. So where can we find each of you online?
Cheeseformen.com. Yeah. Or will@cheeseformen.com is probably the best way to reach me.
Cool.
Yeah. You can find me at johnnyfd.com. That's my personal blog. And if you kind of go back 8 months, you can see where I started out and where I am today. And, I'm just like any of you guys listening. I knew nothing about any of this stuff. So big thank you, Anton, for all your help. And Terry, thank you for all the inspiration from Build My Online Store, because this is what I listened to as I was building my store. Those first 2 months, I needed that inspiration to be like, okay, I got to plug away and keep working on this because I know it'll work.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I had no idea until I met you in Chiang Mai too. It's kind of a funny story, but we don't have to tell listeners that.
Yeah, just listen to whatever the episode was. 72.
Yeah, 72. Yeah, exactly. All right, and where can we find you, Anton?
Yeah, I have a blog. I don't post much on it, but there's some e-commerce stuff and some stuff about my traveling over the past year. It's createtravelplay.com.
Awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much. And listener, thanks again for tuning in. You guys can find each of them. Will, chiefsformen.com, Johnny, johnnyfd.com, and Anton,
createtravelplay.com.
There we go. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
See you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Build My Online Store podcast. If you want the show notes, make sure to check out the website at buildmyonlinestore.com. And if you got an e-commerce store, every 2 weeks I lead a live mastermind call with about 5 or 6 of the listeners in 2 separate groups where we work openly together and solve a business problem that you have. And we're all there to support each other. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com/mastermind. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you guys next week.